Probably seen the headline, "Bill to fund the military during shutdown fails in the Senate." At first glance, it looks like Congress just turned its back on the military, right? Wrong. This was a setup, a political stunt dressed up as patriotism. So here's what actually happened. Mike Johnson and his buddies tried to push through a standalone funding bill that would have kept the military, ICE, and border enforcement running, while everything else in the federal government got shut down. Social programs, frozen. Food assistance, gone. Federal workers, good luck. They wanted to keep the machinery of control running and let the rest of America to rot. But the Senate wasn't having it. That bill needed 60 votes to move forward, and it didn't even get close. Even some Republicans refused to touch it, because they saw what it really was, a backdoor to a selective shutdown. And that's the part that everybody needs to understand. A selective shutdown means only certain pieces of the government stay alive. The ones that help enforce power. So while your community clinics go dark and your parks close, the parts that surveil, police, and punish, well, they'd be business as usual. That's not fiscal responsibility. That is authoritarian budgeting. Democrats blocked it. Not because they hate the military, but because this bill would have created a very dangerous precedent that the president can pick and choose what parts of the government gets oxygen, depending on what keeps him in control. I'm sorry to say that this was not about paying soldiers. It was about normalizing rule for the executive exception, keeping the guns in the cages funded while cutting off everything that keeps citizens alive. And let's be real, this is Trump's playbook. He's already bragged about finding secret funds to pay the troops if the government shuts down, which for the record is not how any of that works. That's like finding extra cash in your neighbor's wallet and then calling yourself a fiscal genius. This is all part of the larger con, to make people think that the government only exists to serve the military, ICE, and the border wall. Because when people believe that, they stop asking why the rich gets tax cuts. Well, teachers need a second job, and veterans sleep in tents. So yeah, the bill failed, and that's actually good news. It means that at least some people in power still realize that democracy doesn't come a la carte. You don't get to fund the weapons and starve the people, Donald. If they want to support the troops, maybe they can start by making sure those troops don't need GoFundMe pages for medical care when they get home. Because the real patriots in this mess is not the politicians waving flags. They're the Americans holding the line, demanding that all of the government serves all of the people. And that is what just failed in the Senate. Not the troops, the stunt. Hang in there, everybody. There's more coming.